The retro gaming community is a great thing to be a part of, and honestly, it's been a great experience for me collecting video games, making friends, building relationships, and just sharing that nostalgia with so many other people that love the same things that you love. But let's not pretend like it's always been sunshine and rainbows because it hasn't been. Let's talk about it. So in today's video, it's a topic that could rub some people the wrong way, or people that have dealt with these kinds of people, can maybe speak out about it and kind of shut that crap down before it gets any worse. Now, in today's video, we're going to talk about two types of scumbags that exist in the retro gaming community. And these are people that you've probably come across or seen or met, whether it's in person or on social media, in the community, on YouTube. They're everywhere, man. And it's a topic that I just wanted to talk about because it drives me absolutely nuts that these people exist. But it doesn't surprise me, right? There are people that are shitty in every type of community or hobby on the face of the planet. So, the two types of scumbags, and we're going to go one by one and we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to give you a few examples. But by the end of the video, I want you to let me know down in the comments, have you experienced these lovely individuals in your life? And how do you feel about it? So, the first type of scumbag we're going to talk about, and we all know these people in some capacity, have come across them or met them at some point, and that is the gatekeeping scumbags. I hate gatekeeping people. I hate the fact that there are people out there that actually think that their opinion fucking matters. That they feel like they are the only ones doing things the right way and everything you're doing is wrong. People that try to dictate to you how you have fun, how you enjoy your video games, how you collect your video games, how you play them. It's an absolute fucking joke. At the end of the day, you guys, the reality of the situation is this: video games are meant to be enjoyed and they are meant to be fun, whatever that is to you, whether it's collecting, whether it's playing them, it doesn't matter. If you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun, that's all that should matter to you. It shouldn't matter what other people think or what other people say. I don't care what kinds of games you play, how you enjoy them, and what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your happiness. It should be a no-brainer, right? But there are people in the community, and we all know the type, that will tell you what to play, how to collect. It doesn't matter. They have to chime in and kind of force their opinion on you in some fashion or some capacity. Now, let me give you a few examples. There are people in the retro gaming community that will literally try to tell you how you should be playing your games, right? We all know the type. The elitist, enthusiast, retro game collectors who are basically the guys that are like, you gotta play on a CRT television, or you have to play on original hardware, or you should own the original games. Guys, stop it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. At the end of the day, all that matters is what makes you happy and how you want to play your games. Don't let people on the internet or people even in person try to dictate how you do things the way you want to do them. At all. Point blank, period. The end. Don't do it. If they try to mess with you about it, tell them to fuck off. That's just point blank the way you should do it. Fuck off. Don't tell me how to play my games. Don't tell me how to have fun. Don't tell me how to enjoy my time doing what I love. The thing is, there's always been this argument in the community between like the collectors who play on original hardware that have the CRT and people that emulate. And there are shitty people on both sides, right? You get the collectors who really love having physical hardware. whether it's, physical games or, the consoles, the controllers, all that. And they don't want to emulate, right? And that's totally fine. And then on the other side of the coin, you have people that strictly emulate games because they think that having physical hardware is dumb, whether they think it takes up too much space, whether they think that, the games are too expensive, which in their defense, in a lot of cases, retro gaming is a very expensive hobby. But to each his own. If you want to collect video games because it makes you happy, then do it. If you don't want to spend the money and do that, then literally emulate. Either way is fine. I don't know why it matters so much to people how people enjoy their video games. I just never understood it. I don't care if you like to play mobile games on your phone. If you like video games, you're a gamer, and that's all that should matter. And at the end of the day, who cares? Who really cares that, the people that take time out of their day to write nasty comments on people's videos or on people's pictures that they share, it just boggles my mind that people are that miserable where they have to, basically force it on you or push their misery on you. There was a story a while back that RGT85 talked about, where this dad was in like a Facebook group and he was showing his younger kids some of the classic video games, but he was playing on like a Retron 5 and he was playing on an HD television, and there were just keyboard warriors in the comments literally going ham on this poor guy. You got to play on a CRT, or you got to play on original hardware. That's not the way to play it. You're raising your kids wrong. It's like, dude, are you dense? Are you kidding me? Like, to literally shit on a dad who's trying to share these awesome classic video games with his kids, to make him feel less than, is really a shitty thing to do. And if you can't see that, then you're literally the person I'm talking about in this video. And I don't care what you think of me. You don't have to like my opinion, but I'm still going to let you know that you're fucked up and you're wrong, 100%. If it's not for dads or moms or parents like that who are sharing these things with their kids, retro video games are going to die. They are not going to continue because kids from today's generation don't give a shit about the older games that we grew up with unless we show them and get them involved and help them, basically learn about the history of video games. That's what's going to keep the hobby alive. Making fun of people because of how they play the game is absolutely insane to me. Not everybody wants to buy a giant 300-pound CRT to stick in their room or in their house. Not everybody wants to buy a $300 or $400 Chrono Trigger or Earthbound cartridge with an original console and, to deal with all of that, to hunt it all down. Some people literally just want to play the games and enjoy them. And, people that are gatekeeping and trying to tell you how to have fun are just assholes at the end of the day. The other type of gatekeeping I've seen are the types of people that still in 2023 think that women need to be mansplained to. People that don't think that women belong in, video games or to play video games, to be a part of the community. That is such a shitty thing. In this day and age, man, it's just it's mind-boggling that people still think like that and give women such a fucking hard time. You see it all the time in clips where guys are trying to be funny, like, they're playing with a girl on Call of Duty and they're like, "Shut up, bitch, and go make me a sandwich." Like, that kind of fucked up shit. Like, that drives me nuts, man. Like, my wife is a gamer, my sister-in-law is a gamer, my daughter likes to play video games. Imagine if somebody talked to your wife or your sister or your mom or your kids like that. Like, that's a really shitty thing to have to deal with when all you're trying to do is have fun and enjoy yourself. It just, people are fucked up, man. This is a fucked up world. And the fact that in a space or a hobby that is 100% solely meant to make you happy and to have fun, you still find people that are miserable enough to try to make you miserable. And it is absolutely fucking wrong. So my advice to you about scumbag number one, the gatekeepers of the community, next time someone fucks with you, just block them or kick them out of your life. Tell them to fuck off, because their opinion really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you do you, no matter what that is. If you want to collect sealed video games, who cares? If you want to buy a game that you know you're probably never going to play, but it looks good on the shelf, who cares? If you want to emulate video games, fucking do it. Emulate the fuck out of them, because they're so damn expensive. Not everybody can afford them. If you want original hardware and you want to break the bank collecting retro video games, then do that too. Share it with your kids, your partners, your friends, your family. Play video games and use them the way they were intended, for happiness. Make you happy. What it's all about, man. It's all that should matter. Now let's move on to scumbag number two. So scumbag number two, this one is a controversial topic in the community, especially the retro gaming community, and that is resellers. How do I feel about resellers? Well, it's kind of a mixed bag for me, because I think genuinely that there is a right and wrong way to do everything in this world. There are people out there that do really scummy, shitty things, that will lie and cheat and manipulate to squeeze every penny out of people. And I don't agree with that. I think that that's fucked up and that's wrong. And like I said, there's a right and wrong way to do everything. Now, if you buy video games and you sell them, do I think you're a bad person? Absolutely not. I think that that is ridiculous. Now, back in the day, yes, people would get castrated for doing shit like that. But, you know, with the way that retro game collecting is going and how expensive the market is, there are ways to buy and sell video games or trade to build your collection without having to break the bank. Because again, not everybody can afford the hobby the way that they would really like to, right? Like, we would all love all the video games, right? And to play them and to have them in the collection. But, you know, in all reality, most of us are just average people, living average lives, working average jobs, you know, and we can't all afford the crazy expensive, you know, games like the Chrono Triggers and the Earthbounds. So if you are the type of person that likes to go to like a Goodwill and you find a game for a couple bucks and it's worth 20, 30, 50 bucks, $100, and you get a good deal and you sell it, and then you use that money for whatever the fuck you want to use it for, good for you. Who cares? Why does it bother people? And I know in the comments people are already writing, you know, oh, they're inflating the market. Dude, there is a lot of things that have contributed to the retro gaming market being inflated or being the highest it's ever been. You can't blame it on a guy going to Goodwill and buying a game and flipping it for 20 bucks, right? There's a lot more to it than that. Now, the types of scumbag resellers that I'm talking about that are a real issue in the community are a lot of the resellers that, you know, fellow YouTuber Heckin' Steve talks about in his videos. And those are the guys that will lie and cheat and manipulate prices at people's yard sales and at flea markets to basically get the most money they can possibly get out of people. And I'll give you a perfect example, because I met someone who tried to do that to me, and I made a YouTube short about it. And the feedback in the comments were definitely mixed. Some people understood where I was coming from, and some people were like, capitalism, man. And I'm just like, well, the people that are commenting that have no idea how the retro video game space works. And you get nasty comments all the time about, you're like 40 years old and you're bitching about video game prices. It's not just about video games. It's about the principle and the point. It is about doing the right thing and not being a piece of shit. So I'll give you the cliff notes, the short version. I went to the flea market. I found a booth. The gentleman was selling God of War for the PlayStation 2. Now, if you know, God of War is about a $15 game. You can get it on eBay. I found my copy actually at a GameStop for $10, and with my discount, I only paid $5. But it's about a $15 game complete in the box. You can find them all day long, online, or whatever. I was at this flea market. Now, when I go to flea markets, I don't look for anything in particular, just usually video game stuff or VHSs or, movies in general. And when I came across God of War, I was like, oh, well, this is one I actually don't have in the collection. I'd like to have it. And now this guy's booth was, it was a total reseller booth, right? He had a bunch of video games and a bunch of collectibles and stuff like that. You know the booths I'm talking about. And I kind of knew that. I was like, oh, this is, it's probably going to be, pricey, but, we'll see what he says. And the guy walks up and I go, hey man, how much for the God of War? And he was like, $40. But for you, I'll sell it to you for $30. Now, this is where people in the comments were like getting upset with me, because they were like, well, you should have just been like, no, thank you, and walked away. Now, most of the time I would. Most of the time when people ask something I'm not willing to pay, I just say, hey, thank you, have a good day, and I keep it moving, right? But the thing that just, I don't know what it was, man. The thing with this guy is that he blatantly tried to lie to my face. And it's not about the dollar amount. I could have bought the game for $30, right? I have a job. Those of you in the comments that like to try to shit on me and say, well, get a job. It's like, I have a job. I could buy the damn game for $30. I could. And you're right. The guy can sell the game for whatever he wants, right? Capitalism. It's his game. It's his booth. But don't lie. Don't lie. That is my biggest fucking gripe with people, is that don't sit there and tell me $40, but I'll give it to you for $30, because that's a good deal. And, I'm hooking you up. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're lying through your teeth to try to pinch me for double the value of something. No matter what that something is, you are still lying to me. If you went to buy, let's say, a car, and you were at the dealership, a used car dealership, and they were going to sell you, I don't know, a fucking Toyota Corolla, and that Toyota Corolla blue books for about $5,000. And the car dealership guy goes, we're selling it for $20, but for you, I'll do $10,000. And you go, but it's only worth $5,000. So you're really not giving me a good deal. You're trying to lie to me to get more money out of me, because that's how you clearly do business. Now, hey, if that's how you want to roll, that's fine. You can go fuck yourself. Straight up. So when the guy told me $30, I literally was like, man, I'm going to have to pass. It's like a $15 game. And again, in the comments, people were like, well, you shouldn't have even said that. Fuck you. He's lying. And if he's not going to get over on me, he's going to get over on the next person and the next person and the next person who doesn't know. And he's going to continue this bullshit game of buying really cheap, because we know most resellers buy for ridiculously cheap prices from garage sales and flea markets, and they're going to try to make money. And that's fine if you're selling it at market value, what the item is actually worth. And yeah, you can ask for more, but the minute you start lying to people is where I've lost all respect for you. And you can agree or disagree. But when I told him that, he lost his ever-living fucking mind with me. He was like, it's not worth 15. I know what it's worth. Blah, blah, blah. I've been doing this for years, and I've been talking to people who've been selling games for 25 years, and I'm going to listen to them over you. And I'm like, bro, you're trying to sell me a game for double the price, and you're lying about it, and I said no thank you. And you're mad because I called you out for your shit, right? Because I'm sure he's not fucking used to that. I'm sure the average consumer that goes to the flea market and sees video games doesn't know what the fuck they're worth. Unless you pull out your phone and look it up in front of the guy, you're not going to know unless this is your thing, right? Everybody's got their thing. Everybody has hobbies. Whether you're into collecting coins, artwork, collectibles, cars, guns, whatever it is, you know your shit if this is your hobby. Now, when he did that, I literally whipped out my phone and I pulled it up on eBay. A listing for $12, $15. And again, we're going to go back to the comments, but then you got to pay shipping. Even at the $5 shipping, or somewhere even $3 shipping, you're still paying way less than what this guy was trying to sell it to you for, because he's lying, because he's trying to get over on you. And if you are okay with people getting over on you, then keep being naive and buying from these people. If you don't like to, and you actually like hanging on to some of your money, then don't do that. Don't buy from these fucking people, because they don't care about you. They're not cutting you a good deal. They're not doing you any fucking favors. They're trying to rip you the fuck off. And if you can't tell that, I don't know what to tell you, man. And if you think I'm wrong for calling people out like that, then dude, you're just fucking buy it. Fucking buy everything you want. Go pay $10 for a gallon of milk at the fucking grocery store. I don't know what to tell you, man. But those types of people are really scummy. The other types of scumbags that, are in the reseller market are the people that go to yard sales and rip off like people that don't know shit about video games. Like, I'm talking the grandmas and grandpas, the moms and dads that are selling their kids stuff, right? It's like, I've watched guys walk up to yard sales and literally get boxes and boxes of high dollar games and consoles, and they're paying like $10, $20, $30. And I've even watched these guys haggle at those prices, which absolutely blows my mind. And I have to give a shout out to Chase from Chase After the Right Price, because that dude, I fucking like that guy, because I've watched plenty of his videos where someone's like, well, I don't know, I'm going to ask this much for it. And Chase knows what this stuff is. It's his job. It's his business, right? He's got employees. And if he knows it's, way too low, he kicks them back a couple more dollars, or he tells them, hey, it's worth more than that. Let me give you some more money. I can respect a guy who does that, right? Because that's the right thing to do. If some grandma has a copy of Earthbound and she's like, I don't know, $1, bro, I'm not telling you have to give them the $300 or $400 that the cartridge is worth. I'm not saying that. But damn, dude, like, you can kick her down another 20 or 30 or 40 bucks, because you're winning. You know that especially if you're going to sell that game, you're going to walk away in the green no matter what. So don't be a piece of shit about it. Don't lie about it. Don't haggle those prices. It's like, I watched a guy get a fucking box of games and they only wanted like $50 for it. And there were some bangers in there. We're talking RPGs, horror games, like fantastic games that were worth hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And all they wanted was $50. And the guy actually said, would you do 40? Really, bro? 40 fucking dollars? Like, oh, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And those of you in the comments that are questioning my integrity and are like, would you have done it? I would have gave them the $50 they were asking for, dude. I wouldn't. You already know you're scoring. You already know you're getting a great fucking deal. And some people, don't get me wrong, some people really don't give a fuck about how much money they could make. They just want this shit out of their house, right? That's why they're having a yard sale. They just want to make a little extra cash, get rid of some shit, and call it a day. But if you're going to walk in there and just bullshit people to make a buck on these people, it just makes me sad, man. It's just not right. It's fucked up. I've come across really great deals on things, and, I've never done that scummy shit, and I just don't believe in it. And however you want to do it, man, you do you, but just know that it's a shitty thing to do. And at the end of the day, yes, you're trying to make money because resellers, it's like their business, but have some integrity, have some morals, like, don't try to get over on people that, don't know any better. It's fucked up. it makes the whole community and other resellers that aren't bad people look bad, right? Like, I know a lot of people shit on Caleb from Phoenix Resale, and the one thing I will say about Caleb is, and I watch his channel all the time, the one thing I'll say about Caleb that I can appreciate is Caleb is fucking blunt and honest about everything he's doing. He goes into retro video game stores with his camera on and is like, hey, I'm gonna buy this game, you know, you're gonna make some money, but I'm gonna also flip it and sell it on my store and I'm gonna make some money. Are you cool with that? Most people say, fuck yeah, I don't care. You know, like, you know, you have a game listed for 15 in your store. That's what you're asking. I'll give it to you, man, because I'm going to flip it for 25 bucks. Like, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that, right? Because Caleb's not lying about what he's doing. And he's straight up with people. He's like, look, man, I can give you like 30, 40, 50% of the value. That's what I have to be at for my business to make money. And he tells people that. He's not like, you know, hemming and hawing about shit and lying and like, well, no, he's straight up like, hey, I have a business. I need to buy this at 50% or lower to make money. Are you cool with that? This is the best I can offer. And a lot of times Caleb will be like, you know, I'm probably not the best offer for you. Probably try to sell it somewhere else because I can't give you, you know, what you should get for it. How can you not appreciate the honesty? Whether you agree with it or not, like, it's just, that's the right thing to do if you're going to be in this business. I don't know, guys. Yeah, I love the gaming community. I love the retro gaming community. There's so many awesome creators out there and people out there that I have met and become friends with, and I love it. I love it. But it's not always sunshine and rainbows, and we can't pretend that it is. There are shitty people out there, and at the end of the day, tell them fuck off. Have fun, enjoy your video games, and just ignore the scumbags. And if you like the video, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Do you agree? Have you dealt with these kinds of people before? And how do you handle the situation? And also, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, it helps out a lot. You know, leave a comment, little emoji or something if you have nothing to really say, because, you know, engagement. And yeah, we're trying to reach 10,000 subs by the end of the year. You know, it's a big, you know, thing for me, and it's definitely a big goal, and I hope we can reach it. But, you know, hey, it's been one hell of a ride so far. So thank you guys for watching. And at the end of the day, don't be a scumbag, because it's kind of shitty.